Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Shar Zeeland, and I'm here with Ricki Waltz. And today we have something special for you. We're doing a nurse success series, and I really want you all to hear from actual nurses that are going at this and starting their own businesses. I want you to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly, because I'm not here to tell you that starting a business is, all rainbows and butterflies all the time. It is a very rewarding endeavor, but there is a lot of hard work that goes into it. And so I really just want to share from the perspective of some of my clients, some of the good, the bad, and the ugly that's going on in their businesses. So today I would like, first of all, thank you, Ricki, for joining me. And just want to give her a nice introduction. So first of all, Ricki is self-described as tenacious, kind, and a down-to-earth Maine woman, and I couldn't agree more. She's a curious mind. She loves to learn new things, and she's very adventurous. She has a passion for the outdoors, and she's been a caregiver, and she's been an RN for 38 years. And the last 20 years, she's been a school nurse. God bless you for that. She is a new business owner, and she's a certified nurse coach, and she focuses on empowering women and caregivers over 50 to live their best second act. She is trained in functional medicine and nutrition, and her hobbies include hiking, biking, and connecting with nature. She loves walking her dogs and dancing. She does live again in the beautiful state of Maine near the woods and the ocean. She has 2 grown sons and a beautiful daughter-in-law and a supportive, loving partner and 2 dogs. She loves the woods, cold water dips in the ocean, and spending time working on a local farm and helping others. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Ricki herself and see if there's anything that I missed in that introduction.
I was going to say, where do I have time for my business? I guess I should say that I also am a caregiver myself. I support my elderly parents as well as my 98-year-old aunt. So I definitely have a lot in the fire, so to speak.
Which is exactly the types of people you serve. So I think it's great. And one of the things I want everyone to know that your professional experience is only part of a potential business opportunity. Your life experiences are just as important, if not sometimes more so, in creating a successful business, especially if you're going to be a coach or something along those lines. Well, we're going to just jump in with some questions. I want to keep this somewhat casual. I don't want it to be so formal, like we have to, I just kind of want to keep this a nice, warm conversation. So feel free to jump in or pivot whenever you feel like it. So, but the first question is just like, what motivated you, Ricki, to start your own business? And how did you make that decision to become an entrepreneur?
Well, I have had several small businesses over the years. While I was a nurse, and that pretty much was my career in the outside world. I always had a drive. My dad was a very successful businessman, and I don't know, I have that in me. And so over the years, I had dabbled in a lot of different businesses. I think I made a lot of mistakes. I didn't know what I was necessarily doing. I didn't ask for a lot of help. But I worked so hard. And the last adventure I was on was an alpaca farm. And so that brought me a lot of pleasure. And after I got divorced in 2017, I just really started on this path of new self-discovery about who I was and what I wanted to do. And I started getting coached. I got coached in nutrition and exercise, and I had such good results from coaching that it just got me very interested in what coaching was all about. And in 2019, I actually completed the nurse coach program through Inca, and I was on my way to becoming a nurse coach. And I was going to use it in my school nursing to help parents. Mm-hmm. And then the pandemic hit. Mm-hmm. So I put it all on hold. And when I came back after the pandemic, I was pretty burnt out. And I know from being on your group that many nurses that come to seeking entrepreneurship are just really tired of the healthcare system. And so I was like, I really need to do this. So I went back and I took the exam, and I, you know, got myself all prepared. And then I was like, what do I do? How do I do this? Um, but I knew that I wanted to help people, and that's been at the basis of my whole reason for wanting, or mission, I guess, to say what I wanted to do was to help people. And coaching helped me so much that I was like, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. And, you know, I really do believe in healthcare, that people know what they need. They need someone to listen to them. They need someone to help them with their goals. And I was just really dissatisfied that we don't listen enough. We don't help people do what they know they need to do. We just hand out a lot of education and tell them to do it. So that was kind of the drive behind doing it.
That's awesome. I like that you yourself as a coach have experience coaching, because I work with many different nurses that go into coaching who have never themselves even worked with a coach before, which I always find interesting, because I say coaches need coaches. Um, Coaching is a wonderful just tool for anybody. We cannot see our own blind spots, and whether that's in, if you're working on your health or your wellness or your business, it's just, you don't know what you don't know. You can't see your own blind spots. So I think that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about as you started your business. So Ricki's been working with me. Gosh, Ricki, I can't even remember when you started. Has it been 4 months now?
At least I think we started sometime in August.
Okay, so oh my gosh, we've been almost 5 months then. Okay,
Yeah.
well, Ricki's been a rock star. She's been super fun to work with. She jumped in with both feet. I always tell people will always ask me like, how fast can I start getting clients? How fast is this going to work? And I tell everybody, listen, I can give you the how, and I can hold your hand and coach you all the way through it. But if you're not going to do the work, it doesn't matter. So Ricki did jump in, and she has already signed how many clients? A couple? Are you up to 3
Yes,
yet?
I have a couple of clients and a third that I'm working on. So that's pretty
Awesome.
exciting for me.
It
Yeah.
really is. And I think what's exciting about that is when you come in, everyone has a different pace. And I like to meet everyone where they're at. And Ricki was really, what I love is you're kind of more embracing the process of becoming a business owner. And your main goal wasn't like coming in and I got to be profitable and making, 6 figures in, 3 months kind of thing. You really come in and embrace the process. And I think because you're doing that and you're just doing the work, I mean, you get busy, do the work, you've had really wonderful success. So let me ask you though, as you started, what were some of the biggest challenges at the very beginning for you?
Well, just what I felt was not successful businesses in the past really kind of ate away at me. That what was I doing wrong? Why was I not successful? And then I really was hard on myself and not really appreciating the success in my life.
Mhm.
And I think I needed to acknowledge that I was doing much better than I thought I was, and then I could actually learn from that. But having been coached and having tried to do my own business on my own, the whole idea of doing an online business, which is kind of where I'm focused right now, because I have this idea, this long term, that I will retire in a few years, and that I want to be able to take my business with me. So the idea of being able to hop on and serve my clients anywhere that I happen to be. That means I can travel, I can get out to a camp, I can do these things. So my biggest thing was, how do I learn this? Like the idea of the business part of it. I love to coach. I know how to coach. I know how to teach. But I did not know how to do any of this. And I tried before the pandemic, to do it myself. I tried to get a website. I tried to, do some coaching, and it was like I was totally lost. So I don't know how you and your group showed up in my feed, but obviously I was doing enough research around how do you start a nurse coaching business, or a business, and I got a call with you, and I just really believed that I believe in connections. We hit it off really quickly. You have been a nurse. You understand nurses. You not understand where we're coming from, and you're doing a successful business. So I wanted that. I wanted that help to be successful, and so that's really, where I landed, is to um, get coached by you, and do, what you have laid out for me, and to have the support that when I do feel lost or not quite sure what to do, I have that support. And that's made all the difference for me, because the learning curve has really been steep for me. I thought I was pretty good on the computer, but I've learned language that I had, like, I had no knowledge of. And then just to kind of jump in with some of the programs that I'm using online, I just really needed the support.
Yeah, fantastic. A couple things I wanted to talk about. You brought up, your past, maybe had some, failures or difficult. I don't think anything's failing. I think it's all learning. And what you did, which I think is great, is you didn't let your past define you, or your past missteps define you. A lot of people think, well, I've been doing this, I tried it, it didn't work. Don't let your past define you, with the right plan and the right action. Again, if you don't know what you don't know, business is 50% being really good at what you're good at, what service you're providing. So in our cases, if we're nurses and we're providing some kind of a service or a consultancy, or maybe you have a medi spa, or you have something, and it's 50% nursing skill, and the other 50% is business skill. And as nurses, we go to nursing school. We don't go to business schools unless, intentionally later on you decide to. But I'm here to tell you, I went to business school, and even so, having that degree and still starting my own business was two different things. So I know my own experience was, when I finally got my own business coach, that is what propelled me over the top, because like I said, coaches need coaches. So you always want someone who's a step ahead of you, that they can kind of help guide you and drive you to that next level. Or, and if you're at those very beginning stages, just helping with all the overwhelm, because there's so many things. Like, there's lots of shiny objects, lots of steps. And I think for most people, they get into it and they get so overwhelmed, and then they just get, I call it analysis paralysis, and they just stop. But again, having a coach or just a plan, and then taking those steps. And I would also like to say, celebrating your wins. I think we're very, very, very hard on ourselves about, I'm not being productive enough. I didn't do enough steps. I didn't work enough hours. You're a great example of someone who, because you are such a busy woman, and you have a very, you have a full-time job, and you have a very busy social personal life, you came into this program with me basically saying, Shar, I only got like so many hours a week. What did we say? 10 hours a week to work on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I told you that's all you need. As long as you keep taking the right actions and keep moving forward, you don't have to have a ton of time to build a successful business. You need to be taking the right actions and not just spinning your wheels. So kudos to you for doing that. I do want to call out for everybody. I will put it in the links below this video. Ricki has a fantastic Facebook group. And is it called Second Act Women? Can you tell
Yes.
me? It's awesome. And Ricki started this group, and it's small but mighty. I've never seen such great engagement in such a small group. And her posts are so beautiful and authentic. And that's why she's got such great engagement, because I'm here to tell you, just be yourself, people. Stop, you don't have to be fancy. Before I hit record, well, I hit record twice with Ricki before we officially got going, because I kept screwing up. So I'm like, just screw it. We're just going forward. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. People would rather see, well, what's your tagline? Tell them your tagline. Being perfect, perfect.
Yes. Yes, I do everything imperfectly. 2024 is about doing things imperfectly. And it really allows me to put myself out there, that I was hard on myself and a perfectionist, and I had to let that go, because it was keeping me from doing things. And when I let go of that, every time I do something that's a little bit new, or I'm a little bit nervous about, I said, it's okay. It's okay. I'll do it imperfectly. And I have had, I think, connection with the people in my group because everybody's imperfect. We're all human. And, we're not going to do it. That's the other thing. So much information out there, and you start to compare. You compare yourself to people. And I was just so grateful to have you to pull me in on a weekly basis to say, okay, let's just take one step. What can you do this week? Or, and that was really helpful because there is a lot of information out there. And you talked about shiny objects, and that when your mind is so full of ideas, and then you start seeing all, like what people are doing. And I'm like, do I have to do that? And what I've come to realize in the 5 months I've worked with you is that to be me, like, this is me, this is what's going to make my business. If you want to work with me, then this is who I am. And I know that the right people will come. It's something that I say to myself every day, because I am going to connect with the right people. And a lot of people are not the right people. And I'm also learning that.
I think that's perfect. Yeah, being your authentic, genuine self, even with all the rough edges you might have, it's so much more appealing. People don't want perfection because we want to feel understood. We want to connect, right? And like you said, we want to attract the right people to work with us, but we also want to repel the wrong people. So I have a very direct, sarcastic New England personality. I like to be a little bit funny, or I think I'm funny. I don't know if anyone else thinks I'm funny, but I'm also like, I'm going to get you results. I'm very results driven. And listen, I may not be for everybody. There's lots of different business coaches out there, and some are more focused on the mindset and helping people that way. And I'm definitely much more of I do a little of that because I am here to support you that way, but it's more of like very action based. Here's the how. We're going to help walk you through the process. But point being, I'm going to attract some people based on my way of doing things and my personality, and just those things. And I'm going to repel some. And it's like just as important to repel the people that aren't your perfect client, and that's okay too. It's because we don't want to necessarily. It's really difficult to work with someone who's not your perfect client. Because you might be just clashing all the time. You want to make sure be brave. And a lot of people at the beginning of their businesses want to say yes to everything because they're so afraid of not making money, or, oh my gosh, I got bills to pay. I got to say yes. And I'm telling you, it is the biggest mistake anybody can make, is taking on a client just to make a buck, because you will pay for it down the road. I've made the mistake myself, and I will tell you, I've learned the hard way. And I think we all have to a little bit, and you also brought up comparing and despairing. And that's really like when you're comparing yourself to all the other businesses out there. Here's a funny thing. Someone can have a really pretty website or have all this polished social media stuff, but I have a lot of connections, and I can tell you some of the most beautifully put together places, they're making no money. And so don't let appearances fool you. Sometimes the people that are not as polished are the ones that are actually making the money, and they're producing results for their clients. And the shiny ones, they're just that. You can put lipstick on a pig, but doesn't mean it's all that. So what do you think is some of the advice you would give someone who's thinking about starting their own business from an investing standpoint? Like, obviously businesses take money. I get a lot of people who will say, well, what can I do that costs no money? And let's be honest, starting a business is going to cost something. Even a business like a coaching or consulting business, where there is a lower capital investment, but you have to still invest your time, energy, and money into any business to learn the right skills and make sure you have, if there is things you need to buy for the business. How would you say to someone who's new, what would you say about that?
Well, you have to look at what you have. You have to look at what your resources are. And I really embraced the idea that I was not going to make any money right away. And because I knew it was going to take time. And I actually, knew that I wanted to learn the business at the same, at the same time I was doing it. I wasn't quite sure when I would be bringing in money. So I looked at what I had for personal finances, and I did take a small loan. And I wanted to make sure that I could, do this for a year, do this for a year, and that I was a beginner. That was another big key for me to, that I was starting to look at people who, oh, they've been in business 10 years and they're doing this, because I would catch myself wanting to do these things. I have tons of ideas. And what I'm learning is that I am a beginner. And each day I do something, I'm becoming more experienced, and it builds on itself. And I'm very careful about what I spend my money on. You can get attracted to shiny things. Oh, I've got to have that, and I've got to have that, and I've got to have that in order to do the business. I guess my advice would be, maybe you do, maybe you don't. There are some pieces that I definitely have invested in, so that my business, I can do what I have started to do. But I've tried really hard to get really good at this one-on-one coaching with people and learning the business, through, and my marketing is through the Facebook group, for the most part, and I've developing an email list. And I'm really trying to keep my budget small. I'm a part-time person. I do work full-time. So I knew that I was only gonna, be about an hour a day, maybe a little bit more on the weekends, and still have a life. That's really important to me. So I guess that's what I would say
Yeah, I
is
think that's
working for me.
good. I like the beginner's mindset. When you're a nurse with many, many years, decades of experience, even, you come into this thinking, well, I'm a smart person, I can figure this all out. And yeah, maybe you can. But again, it's a whole, the business side is just a whole different skill set, knowledge set. And is it learnable? Absolutely. But there is that learning curve. And I think we need to sometimes just humble ourselves to the things we don't know and be willing to learn. And you've done that too. And setting up those realistic expectations. Like you said, you came in without a huge monetary expectation, like I need to make $1 million in a year. Like, I like that you've thought about, it's going to take some time to build this business, because like the reality is it takes time. Like, my goal when I work with people really is to get you started, get that business set up and get those first clients so you can start building some confidence, and also a proof of concept. We want to make sure the business concept is, something that people want. But what people often don't know is there's so many things. It's like, just because you decide to be a coach and hang your shingle out doesn't mean people are automatically going to flock to you. Or if you post a couple times on Facebook, like, oh, great, yeah, like you're going to have 100 customers. It's not that easy. There's lots of things to learn, and learning how to think and talk like a marketer or a copywriter or a salesperson. They're just different skill sets, and nurses always want to teach. And nurses don't like to ask for the sale. And I'm like, well, these are all important things in business. And you've been really good about leaning into just like, getting uncomfortable, because some of these things are very uncomfortable. What do you think's been some of the most uncomfortable things you've had to do, but now that you've done them, you feel really good about?
Well, there's a few things. Showing up, just showing up. I really realized that in order for people to trust me and want to work with me, I had to show up. And so when I felt like the first few times I posted on Facebook, I was like checking every, few minutes to see what people were liking and whether or not they were commenting. And that quickly drove me crazy. And then I would send out an email, same thing. And I would wonder, are people going to open it? Are they going to do it? Like there was a lot of tense moments that were very uncomfortable. And I guess I call it beginner's mindset. You're nervous, you don't know. But the more I do it, I would guess that it gets easier to do uncomfortable things. But show up for yourself and for your people. if you disappear, I think you're just slowing yourself down. And that's what I remind myself every time that I need to do something. Like when I have a connection call with someone to find out about them, and then ask ask for them, do you want to be coached, do you, do and make an and have an offer. That was really big for me, and I'm getting better at it all the time, and get receiving that first no, 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 I don't, or that first time nobody shows up on your call when you've made a call. Those things are shaky for you in the beginning, and what I've appreciated about our weekly calls. And that's the other thing. If you, get a business coach and make the calls, make the connection with that person so that you have weekly support, because Shar will probably tell you, but there have been times when, well, we were going to do this interview on our last call, and I'm like, no, I've got way too much going on with myself and my business. I need your help today. And, I feel so much better this week. And that's sort of what I would say comes. You have ups and downs. When you have that really big success, you want more of it, and you kind of, and that's great, but they come and they go, and they, it's a learn, I don't know what the word I want to say, but it's a process, and I get less and less attached. Like I just know I have more and more faith and more trust that I'm doing it, and I'm not quitting. I'm showing up, and I'm gonna do it. And I am doing it. And I will say that, once I got a couple of clients, working with them has been so wonderful, because I do know how to coach, um, and so it makes me want to do the other stuff more so that I can talk to more people. So it builds on itself.
That's awesome. I think you talked about showing up. And so showing up is most important. And again, doing it perfectly and perfect. Like just show up. And for most people, it's really just, it's a challenge to yourself, and it doesn't have to be shiny and pretty. And some things are going to work and some things aren't. And I challenged my clients the last week, and I'm doing it myself, to do something called the garbage post challenge. I cannot claim this as my own. There's a coach, her name is Simone Soul, and she's a wonderful marketer. She has a podcast out there called The Korean Mom, or I'm Your Korean Mom or something. But she has this challenge where you do garbage post, and it's not that you're putting out garbage, it's just challenging yourself to put out something every day, whether that's a post or a video or an email. It doesn't matter, so whatever you want to put out, but writing something and putting it out there in the world, making yourself visible. And some things are going to be great, and some things are going to be nothing. And like, to not worry about the likes, the shares, the comments, like who gives a shit? Like, just put yourself out there. And I've been doing it, and it's awesome. I'm just writing about, I found myself getting very formulated and like trying to do like just say the right things in the group. And then I'm like, I had to take a step back and say, nope, I'm just going to start posting. Like I have so many things I want to talk and teach and share with everybody. And sometimes they're going to hit, sometimes they're not. But so I'm doing the challenge. I'm going to encourage anybody who watches this, like take up the challenge yourself. It's a lot of fun. Ricki posts a lot. I'm so impressed with her. And I think that's why your group has been super successful, is that you put yourself out there, girl, and you do videos, and you just do
The videos, yes, the videos. People want to connect with you, and the videos help with that a lot.
I hate video.
At first, but you just do it.
You do. I don't even like video. And so part of like me doing these is like, I don't love it either. So I'm just forcing myself out of my comfort zone. I'd much rather write a blog, because you can pre-plan it. Like I can write it, I can edit it, I can, make sure it says. So for the audience, if you don't know, so one of my superpowers is I do have ADHD, and I share that with you because my brain works really fast. And so I have 90 thoughts and they're way over here, but my mouth can't keep up with it. And so I'm always worried on video that I won't sound as articulate as I do when I write, and can put all my thoughts in a very orderly fashion and put it out to the world so beautifully. So yeah, even as a coach, even as someone who teaches this stuff, I'm telling you, we all have our insecurities, and you have to just get brave and do it anyway. Like I'd say, embrace the suck and do it anyway.
Well, and my experience has been that nurses are work so incredibly hard.
Mhm.
It's a new skill set, but we've learned new skill sets. You know, and that's what I have to keep telling myself, is that I have been successful, very successful in my career as a nurse. I do have leadership skills. I have a growth mindset. I never stop learning. And that is going to carry me through. Sure, I have my down days and I have my anxious days. And some days I ask myself, what are you doing? Um, but then, you were talking about what do you post? I sit on Sunday morning and I meditate, and then I ask, what should this week be about? And I get quiet, and I have had the best ideas, and I just go with it. I'm like, okay, this week is going to be focused on this. And I've learned some business tricks to be able to
Mhm.
schedule my posts ahead of time. And so I'm learning so much, and I'm figuring out how to make it work in my life.
I think it's important to make it work for you too. And I'm learning this as well. So, everyone out there's lots of people out there, they're going to say, especially for content and posts, like, oh, plan it, you should write a month in advance and put it out there. And I've done all different ways, but what I've really found for myself is that I don't like doing that. I have to lean into it and be okay with it. So for me, I will try to plan out stuff, or I'll post things, but then I'm like, yeah, I didn't want to talk about that today, that's not what's on my mind. So rather than fight it, I'm just leaning into it. So I'm like, I'm just going to talk about what I want to talk about today, and that's okay. Like, there is no right or wrong way to do this. You ask 10 different, business or marketing coaches, they're going to give you 10 different ways to do it. So you have to find the way that's going to work best for you. The main thing is that you do it. Which kind of goes to, though, I would also say it's important to know that you don't have to have the same strategy. I see everyone thinks that you have to be on social media or you have to do certain things. And I'm here to tell you why I love working one-on-one with my clients is because, Ricki, her business as a business coach, or I'm sorry, as a health coach, is very different than I can have 10 coaches. They can even be like serving a similar population, like women in their 50s or menopausal years or things like that, but they all have a different perspective. It's so to me, and also you have experiences and strengths and weaknesses and opportunities. So I think it's important that you lean into those, and you've been really good about doing that. What do you think have for your life experience or personal, professional, what has really helped you as you've gone into this journey and started doing this business?
Well, I've never been one to take on a challenge and not, you know, give it my all. So I'm a go-getter. I'm a hard worker. Um, I do believe that I have good leadership skills. And was just trying to think of what else I have had in my life. Um, well, my outdoor activities really build me up as well. I have done some really pretty extreme sports, and I'm almost 60, so I've done all of this since I was in my mid 40s. I have always been active in my life, but I got really into doing lots of outdoor activities that pushed my limits, climbed mountains, ran a marathon. I won't do that again, but I'm going to tell you how that's helping my business, because this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And having worked up to running a marathon, when you said that to me during one of our sessions, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
because I want to get it done. I want to get it done. And there really isn't a done. There is a journey. And I'm looking at this just like I look at my life, that this is a journey. And it's going to change, and I'm going to learn new things, and I'm going to find some things that I like. I'm going to find some things that I don't like. and what works for me. And I got to be open to, you know, what the business looks like. And am I working the business in a way that I can be successful at it?
Yeah, is your business, are you working your business or is your business working you? I think that's
Mm.
like an important thought to have. I think goal setting is super important, right? But also being okay and fluid enough to pivot when necessary. I can say through my business itself has definitely had over the last 4 years, definitely some twists and turns and pivots to bring me to where I am today. I am someone like, I think a lot of nurses were very much we're very solution based, right? Results driven. So you give us something to do, we're taskmasters, we get it done. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to get it done fast, get it done well. One of the things I see often too is we keep moving the goalpost. I myself do this and I have to take a breath like, okay, it doesn't matter, whatever goal you make. And goals don't always have to be like monetary. I want people to know that sometimes we really get stuck on these financial goals, or I have to have this many clients or this. Now, sometimes a goal can simply be like, I'm going to learn, X. But we're always moving that goalpost. So what I'm saying is we're never stopping to celebrate the wins. And it's important to stop and smell the roses, so to say, like celebrate wins, even if they're small wins, like getting your first client, your first
Mhm.
paying client is so exciting for people. And it should be, because to finally get someone to pay you for your knowledge, whatever your service, your product, whatever you're doing is very, very exciting. And I think there's a mindset shift for people. Finally, they're like, oh, this is real. Like this is real. Um, which leads me, if you don't mind me asking a little bit, this is always a challenge for people if they're doing coaching, because it really doesn't matter what you're doing, pricing your offers. I would say most nurses, if not every nurse I've ever worked with the exception of a couple, always undercharge, always undercharge. And I know you are someone who, at the beginning of this, I was like, oh, you got to charge more. But with that said, it's almost more important at the beginning to like not worry so much about what that price is, but just being comfortable with it. So do you mind talking? And you don't have to share your price points, but just like tell us a little bit about that experience for you and charging someone for like what you're doing.
Well, yeah, it's it has been a challenge for me. I will be very honest about that. Um, but what I'm learning is that there is value in what I do. Um, and when I first started, I think, as nurses, unless you've had some pretty good salary jobs as a nurse, we've been undervalued and underpaid for a long time. And so you get in that hourly rate mindset, and it's really hard to get out of that. But when you start looking at the investment you make in your business, the amount of hours that are outside of that coaching session, and the value that you bring and the knowledge that you bring, I think over time that has helped me. And in the beginning, I told people, this is a beginner price, I'm just getting started. And so this is your opportunity to grow with me. I mean, I made it like a special deal, and I gave a really good price. And I'm actually, I did get my first client doing that. And she has been so grateful. And it's just been wonderful working with her. And my second client was my next, change in my offer. And I'm really at a point right now where I am still waffling about my real value. But I think that it's taken me some time to learn the business and learn my own value. And I guess what I would say is don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to change it.
Yeah, I like that. And I think it's okay, you have to start where you're comfortable. Because also, if you're throwing prices out there and you can't say them comfortably and believe in your own price, if you're like, I'm going to charge you this amount, and they're like, you don't seem too confident there,
Yeah.
So you got to believe in it. And then I think the more you do it, the confidence will build. And then when you work with people and you get them results, then you're like, yeah, I'm good at this. And so I am worth it. So
Yeah.
it's fun to
And
see.
confidence is a big piece of it.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, when you're unsure, sometimes that confidence, you need it and you don't have it.
Yeah.
Like I have been unsure of myself, but I remind myself about being imperfect. And, you know, I guess I've been doing nursing for so long, and I'm just like, I want to do this in the way that I really enjoy. And my passion is to help people. But I've also had to realize to take care of myself and that have my own value. And I think so, like I said before, if you're an older nurse, you definitely were undervalued. Some of the newer nurses are seeing more value, but you carry that with you. And this has given me the opportunity to change that.
Where do you hope to see your business go in the next 3 to 5 years? What would you like to see?
Um, I'm going to retire from school nursing, and I don't know whether I will go full-time, full bore, but that is my goal right now, is that I would have a full-time business, or a plan to launch a full-time business when I retire. But I want to continue to help people, and coaching has given me so much satisfaction. I have a lot of ideas about how to support people, and I'm learning more about how residual income, how do I make money that I don't have to be personally present for all the time. That's another thing that has been our whole career, is that when you show up for work, you get paid. But are there things that I could offer that people would pay for, that I don't have to show up for them to get that? So, those are things that I want for my business.
Awesome. So I'll start wrapping it up here, but like I would just like to ask, what advice would you give someone who is watching this video right now? They're waffling, maybe they're scared. They're like, oh, I don't know if I could do this, but what's the advice you would give to someone who's considering doing this?
Well, you are going to be scared.
Fair.
And do it anyway. Listen to your gut, and don't quit. Change paths, slow down, speed up, do more when you can, or do less when you can't. But don't give up, and and learn. Be willing to learn. Be willing to say no, that doesn't really work, or that I have to learn this new skill. Like this is going to help me to be successful. And take small steps. But take daily action if you can,
Yep.
because the movement over time, doing a little bit every day, has really made all the difference in my business, even as a part-time business.
Yeah, it's that 1% better. Like, again, if you did one thing, if you could only spend 30 minutes a day on your business and you did that for 365 days, just imagine you could have a thriving business. I mean, everyone thinks they got to put a ton of time and stuff. And it's really, again, it's the right actions, focus. My word of the year, by the way, is focus. I'm sure someone with ADHD, focus can be hard sometimes, but I do realize that is the path to success. And I have to remind myself, I have to remind my clients all the time. But focus is really important in business. Again, there's so much out there, shiny object syndrome. I mean, guys, you all have seen, there's so many ads and everyone's selling you something. And I get this comment a lot too, is like, well, how do I know it's not a scam? Man, I mean, that is the challenge we have to fight online. And so I'm like, I don't know. I can't, other than talking to you and trying to, I can't really convince you. You have to kind of just, hopefully they follow you and get to know you through like, some of your social media outlets or whatever you're doing. You have to build that know, like, and trust so that people want to do it with you. So, yeah, but I agree with you. I think we only regret the things in life that we don't do. No one's sitting on their deathbed saying, you know, damn, I wish I had not done that. I think we just regret the things we didn't try more so than the ones we did, and even if we did fail. So,
And I guess I would just say, if you're really serious, and you don't know what you're doing, but you know that you want to do this, then get help.
Yeah.
You know, don't be that independent. I got to do this on my own. You can do it on your own. I do believe it, but it's going to take a lot longer. I am a wholehearted supporter and believer in getting help, and coaching has really changed my life in so many ways.
It's the who, not the how, right? Anybody can go buy a book on how to do anything in life, how to manage your stress, how to lose weight, how to start a business, but it's the who that's going to help you accelerate it faster with less stress and frustration. And yeah, you might have to put an investment of, your money, your time, your energy, but again, it's getting those results that much faster. So, and hopefully with more success, than fumbling around on your own.
And you commented on that. I'm a super learner. Many times I would pick up a course, or learn something new rather than take action. And
Yes.
that is something that I guess I would like to end with, is you have to take action. And it's uncomfortable at times, and it's scary at times. But I do believe that the difference between those that are successful and those that are not is that they took action.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Well, Ricki, I would love for you to share with everybody. Tell them who you are, if you want to share your website or your group. And I'm going to put the links below the video so that, everyone, please join Ricki's group. It's so fantastic. And I think you'll find a lot of value in it. And just want all of us to support one another as entrepreneurs anyway. So let's straighten each other's crowns and help each other out. Even if you're not going to buy from, Ricki or myself, it doesn't matter. It's just being a supportive, nurses need to start being more supportive of one another and stop eating our young. So, so Ricki, share with us your
Well,
views.
I'm Ricki Waltz. I'm a coach with a background in functional medicine and health and wellness and life transitions. I have chosen to focus on women in their 50s and beyond, and I empower you in self-discovery and personal growth, and to live your best second act. My Facebook group is all about supporting you on your journey. One of the things I love about my approach is that one size does not fit all. And when I show up for you, it's what do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? And how can I support you to do that? So I hope you'll join my group. And I just so appreciate the opportunity to do this, Shar. So thank you.
Well, thank you. It's fun. Again, I'm all about, I want people to know the truth of starting businesses. I think there's too much fluff and crap out there. So I'm just like, no, you need to know what you're getting into. But I will say it's oh so satisfying. It's worth the hard work. It's more than just starting a business. It's a personal growth and discovery opportunity. There's so much to it. So of course I'm a little biased because it's what I do. But yeah, it's been a pleasure working with Ricki, and I'm going to encourage everyone to join your group. So I'll post that below. And I look forward to, we'll have another one of these. I want to keep showing you guys more successful nurse businesses and give you guys just ideas and inspiration to, if you're on the edge or you've been thinking about doing this, to take the leap and do it. If you're looking for help, please, you're welcome to reach out, and I would love the opportunity to talk to you and see if I might be the right resource to help you do that. So, all right, everyone, have a wonderful afternoon. Thanks, Ricki.
Bye.